So continuing where we left off, and let's build this material, this frame material for these mirrors. I will disable that, preview render just briefly, and actually I want that material also to be reflective, but with some different properties. So I will copy this guy and call this mirror underscore frame. Use any naming convention you like. I will use a color here for this mirror frame, but that color will be loaded here in this color channel. So let's take it and let me blur this a bit, just 20%, and I will lower this somewhere like 90%, maybe even 95%. And just to get some little amount of this color in this reflection overlay. Okay, I think this could work. Let me apply it to these guys. So once again, we are searching for the frame. We'll apply it to the frame, and it will apply it to the instance also. And let's check out our render settings here and see what we have. This is quite okay. And let's do our first test render. So Shift and R, and just increase this window so we can actually see what does it look like. Now when you have those first images, you really have to decide, do you like your current materials? What do you want to change? Are there some reflections or any property that you don't like? So for example, I'm really not satisfied with this frame material. So let me change it. And I will take that color information, but I will use it in the reflection here and see what do I have. It will be a little bit more dim. So let me try a new render. See if that is what I'm searching for. It's actually quite more pleasing to me. It doesn't have to be necessarily more pleasing for you. It all depends on what you think or perceive as nice. In addition to deconstructing and dissecting your scene, you can actually then choose where you can maybe apply the same material. So for example, for these holders of these lights and this bar and stuff like that, I will use this same metal material. So let me do just that. So I will select that lamp, find it in the hierarchy, and you can actually see we have instances. Those two are instances, those two, and this is the original guy. So I want to apply that metal material to all of them. But later I will apply a specific material to this part, lamp glass part, and if it has a material on it, it will override that material that is here as a parent material. So that's really a quick way instead of setting every material per every object. Let me see where I can use that material also. For example, on this guy. Let's find it once again. And I believe this is called a batten. So let me apply that metal material. Here on this bar also I will find it and put it on the parent. Okay, so all subsequent materials are applied. Drag that. And maybe also on this door handle. So let's find that too. I will apply it to the whole door and the keyhole. So let's try that. And do a test render and see where we are at. Okay, so Shift and R. And it's coming along nicely. For example, we can build now this wood material. And this is also important because you can see it already here in these reflections. And we will fix the issues here because you can see this surface is not shaded and we kind of miss the part of the wall. So we will extrude them both, but just enough to cover that reflections. Okay? Just to have a minimum information that can hold this scene. So let's build that wood material. So once again, you can double click, rename this to wood. And I will use a texture here also. So let me load it up. And this would be this texture and I will apply it to that wood beams. So I'll select it, find it here in the hierarchy, and I will apply it to this parent null and see what do we get. Something like this, and actually this could work without any further manipulation. I'll again change this to SAT, which is better than MIP, and I'll use a small amount of reflection on them, and it's 10%. That's even too much. Let's try 5. So it's barely visible, but it is there. And I want the appearance of the bump surface, so I will use the bump channel and I will load that exactly the same texture here under bump channel. And maybe I'll leave it at this default value. It can be really good. For example, if I change the sampling here, you will see a difference. Let me crank this up so you will actually see. You see this dotted grainy appearance? Watch if I change this to SAT. It will smooth that out, but it will keep that bump information. So let's tune this down to 20%, which I believe could be enough. So let's do a test render and see how this wood material looks like with the rest of the scene. Give it a moment or two to render. It looks quite decent. I'm really satisfied with it. And we just have a few more materials to build, and then we will deal with global illumination inside our scene. Let me just take a short break and I will be right back. Here we are back. Let me close this and let me see where I can use this metal also. Just to cheat a bit, just to speed up things a bit. And if you press Shift key and F6, you will get your picture viewer back. So for example, this little guy could be made from metal, and maybe this even small button here on this soap box could be made of metal. Let me try that. Let me put the metal material on that, and just to make sure I'm putting on the button, I will scroll to it and put that metal on it. And just do a small test, and maybe I will turn small amount of anti-aliasing here. So best, still image, and 1 by 1 and 2 by 2. This really works for the preview. So let's try that and see where we are heading. Yeah, this could work. I should also put on this cap that metal material, so let's find it and simply apply it. Could even control drag here. It's a matter of workflow preference. Let's open our picture viewer, so Shift and F6, and let's see what we have to build. And we have to build that glass material, door material, window material, this towel material, and this lamp material. Okay, so let's do the glass first. So let's create a new material. We will call it glass, and we'll really give it basic properties. So it is transparent, so we will activate transparency, but not 100% transparent. Let's try a lower value, something like 95, so it's almost completely transparent. Should really experiment with those values and give it a standard refraction value of 1.52. And in the reflection channel, I will add a Fresnel effect. So it will be just inverted. So I will invert it. So we have this transition to black in the outside and going back. Maybe even a bit more. Let me try that. Something like this could work. You can always go back and test for it. Let's do just a small preview render. And maybe not so big. I will scale this guy down and just concentrate here on the glass. Oops, I have to apply it first, naturally. And let's find those glasses here. See a small mistake. Everybody does mistakes. And apply it to the parent, and all subsequent guys will receive it. And let's do a test render now. Yeah, this could work. And with global illumination and even ambient occlusion, it really spark up to life. Let's now build our lamp material. So we'll firstly select it. I will press the S key on my keyboard. And you see, nothing will happen since I'm in this camera mode and it has a protection tag. So I will exit that and press the S key and it will zoom completely on that object that I selected. We have to build a material similar to glass and actually to frosted glass, but to get that kind of a material with the exact values and with the blurriness values, you have to use really high values, and that will bog down your computer and you will have enormous render times. So I actually want to fake it, and to fake it I'll create a new material and call it lamp glass, just to be sure. And in this case you will get better results for faking such frosted glass surfaces in the luminance channel. So let's first find a value of luminance that plays for us. Let's try with the default 100 and apply it. And do a test render and see if it works for us. This is actually too bright. Let's try maybe 75. And this could work. We just double check. Yeah, this could really work. But I want to add some sort of a frosted feature to that, guys. So let me add a noise here that will mimic our frosted glass surface. And I will use some colors here. For example, we could use this color and leave the other one to white. And I will really tune down this global scale way down, so 0.1%. So let's go back. And if I do a preview render, you will see something is off. I will really tune this down to 0%, and you will see it will have no effect. That is because this is completely controlled with this texture right now in this normal mode. We discussed about that. I want to tune this down also. So let's try 75%, which worked here, and it will probably work here as well. And this is really good. I'm satisfied with it. So let's enable our render view and do a small test render to see where we are actually. Just give it a second or two. And this is really looking decent. And let me show you something here. Every luminance material, every material that has luminance channel enabled will contribute in global illumination. It will be seen as a light source. And I don't want that. I want to just to have information that I have right now without lighting up the scene from this material. So here under illumination, I will turn off generate GI. So it won't generate global illumination. And just to make things a little bit more interesting, I will simply add a clear coat to them. So let me find that guy once again. And I'll simply drag that clear coat here on it, which can give it some good results, but actually I want to copy it. Okay, so I will copy that lamp glass like this and turn off that material and simply apply clear coat on it. And of course I want the compositing tag that will disable shadows and it will disable ambient occlusion also. And now we have that shadows off and the ambient occlusion off. So we are cutting down on render time. Let me see what happened here. And these are actually excessive. Yes, I probably accidentally copied them. Okay, so let's do a test render and see where we are at. In this drafting stages, you really won't be able just to see those minimal cosmetic changes that I do. But once we add global illumination, scene can look only better. And the only materials that we have to build are now the window material, door material, this towels material, and there is pretty much it. And also this soap box. And let's do just that. Of course, there is a curtain material also. So let's create that soap box material first. New material, we will rename it soap box. And let's utilize some nice color here. Something like this. I'll just add a small amount of reflection, something like 10, 20 or 30 usually works really good, and also 10, 20 or 30 for the blurriness. Just to have some sort of a plastic, a little bit blurred reflections and somewhat decent plastic appearance. Okay, so we will apply that, find that guy here, and I can apply it to the body. You will see that material is applied. Let's now apply some material for the door. I can actually copy this one, name it door, and use slightly different values for the color. But stay in that same general beige, pinky beige brown tone. For example, something like this could work. And I will use these simple materials simply because those doors are far away from the camera. You can't actually see some really detailed things on it. Let me undo that and find the doors in the hierarchy. So let's apply it to the group, like this guy, and also this guy, which I don't know the name for it, but I'm sure you do, and I will copy it. And let's do a test render and see where we are at. We'll give it a second or two. Yeah, this could work pretty nice. You can always tweak those values if you want a bit more. So let's build the materials for windows. So I'll once again copy this material and simply use maybe another color here. So something like this greenish color. And let me find that guy. So I'll apply it to the windows as a whole. So to the parent, and see, I have knobs here. I will use a different color for the knobs. I will simply copy this, and actually it's a good idea to rename it. So window, and this other guy will become window handle, okay, something like that. And let's change the color here also, just to have some sort of a variation, something like this, darker green, and we will apply the darker green only to these guys. You can see them, those are the handles. It's called the catch actually, not the handle, but it's applied here like this. So if I select both of these guys, I can go functions, apply. Okay? So it will apply them to everything selected here in the object manager. And if you feel that you don't have enough space here, especially if you have some other managers docked, simply middle click on this guy and it will collapse, but it will stay here and it will open up maybe enough space for you. Let me do just a small pause and we will build this towel material and this curtain material, and that would be pretty much it.